Whenever I make a video about arrangements that I make for markets, I often get asked in the comments how I make them, if I use cuttings, if I use plants that were previously potted in bigger pots, or if I just use smaller tiny plants and let them grow. And the answer is, well, I kind of use all of those depending on the pot that I'm planting out. So I'm going to go through a few pots that I currently have ready for the markets this weekend, and I'll tell you exactly how I put them together. So let's start with the bigger ones here. So I've got this beautiful big thing, and then this cute little guy. So with pots that are bigger, I would usually use plants that are this size and fully rooted into their pots, and I would plant them in, and then I would wait about 3-4 weeks, really depending on the weather and the season, and I'll wait for them to grow into the pot properly. So if I turn this pot upside down, the plants wouldn't go anywhere. So this really serves two things, and it is just like I said, if I turn the pot upside down or if it moved, the plants would stay put. So the soil is pretty compacted now, there's roots everywhere. So when I transport them in my ute, they just stay as they are. Now the second thing is that I want to make sure that before I sell them, they are well grown into the pots. I know that they are not dying, there's nothing happening in the pot, and whoever buys the pot will be able to grow these for a while. So I would say in pots like these, if you take care of them properly, so these are all outdoor pots, they will last anywhere between 1 to 3 or even 4 years if you keep them outside in good sun. So yeah, most of the time these bigger pots I plant with plants that have already well established roots. So I would usually put a little one down the side that can trail, then I would use a rosette, another trailing plant, and then something tall down the back, just so there's different levels to the arrangement. I do the same here. So just a few trailing ones. This one has been eaten by something, so I'm going to have to wait a little longer for these to start growing again. But yeah, again, just a few trailing ones, a couple of rosettes, and then the aloe and the portulacaria at the back. So I also try and choose plants that are fairly hardy, and all of these are good plants that can deal with heat, they can deal with the rain, humidity. They should be quite happy growing outdoors. And yeah, the same with this one. Because there's not that much space in this pot, I used smaller plants the roots were about this big, so they can all fit in. This arrangement is about 4 months old. I was really just waiting for this crassula to grow over. I really like when they trail down, and I think it looks really cute. Also this donkey's tail. So yeah, these guys are all good to go, and they will be coming to the market with me on Saturday. Okay, let me show you some smaller pots. Okay, so this pot needs a bit of a clean, but let's just focus on the pots here. So with smaller pots like these, I do sometimes use cuttings and then leave the pot to grow for good 2 or 3 months. I only do this in spring or early summer because later on in the year they don't grow as fast. So these guys, I have used smaller plants from trays that I've got here. So I've got a lot of these growing, like thousands and thousands of little plants. So I use these for wholesale and also in the arrangement. So they are not massive, they are about the A big. And yeah, so that's what I used here, but cuttings are also good. This pot is not huge, so it would work well. Same with this one here. So I just I use cuttings from another bigger plant. So I just took bulbs of this and put it in. It took, I think, 4 months for it to look like this. Using cuttings is also very economical for me because I can just take apart, let me show you, take apart bigger plants like this, and I don't have to then, you know, plant them in trays and then plant them again in pots. It's much easier if I just take cuttings, shove them in the pot, and then just wait for them to mature in there. So this one is from cuttings. So we've got this Haworthia. I took that off a bigger plant. Same with this Ripsalis, and same with this. Now this pot is much older. It's about 5 months old. It's really well grown in. But yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. So yeah, it's pretty much the same with all smaller pots. And then the same here. I just used cuttings. Now I also do bigger hanging pots, and for them, again, if it's a big pot like this, I would just use a potted plant, so it's the process is quicker, and you know, look how nice and big that is. Same with this Peperomia. So I just used a bigger plant and let it grow. I really want to make it look nice and lush. It is really what sells at the markets. If you ever think of going to sell at the markets yourself, if you've got pretty plants that look healthy, they will sell much better than something that has blemishes or is not big enough. So yeah, I do also have, let's see, little ones like this. So if they are tiny like this, I would use cuttings. I planted this out maybe a month ago. The Ripsalis are growing really well at the moment, and yep, like I can turn this upside down and that's how well grown in this is. So yeah, that is how I do my arrangements. I always want to make sure that they look nice, they are well grown in, and nothing in there is dying or suffering from pests. So that those are the most important things. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you next time.